X-shaped cross is commonly referred to as St. Andrew's cross. And on the screen you'll see St. Andrew attached to the cross that is shaped in the form of an S. The chalice that bears the X-shaped cross of St. Andrew is the symbol of your denomination, the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. The chalice symbolizes the central place that the Lord's Supper holds in our times of gathering, as well as the chalice symbolizing the cup of Christian self-giving, of pouring ourselves out for others in the world. The St. Andrew's cross is the national cross of Scotland, which focuses attention on the Scottish Presbyterian roots of our church. The St. Andrew's cross, or Andrew, is the patron saint of Scotland and Scotland's greatest university and their greatest golf course, or one of the world's greatest golf course, is named after the Apostle Andrew. This cross, the St. Andrew's cross, is found on many flags of nations in the world. Nations that claim a connection to the mission work of St. Andrew. Andrew is the patron saint of not only Scotland, but Romania, Luxembourg, Ukraine, Russia, Scotland, and Greece, where tradition holds that Andrew was martyred in the city of Patras, Greece. In Patras, Greece, which is the third largest city in Greece, and I didn't know anything about Patras until I started doing homework for this sermon. In this beautiful city of Patras is found this lovely church, which is called the Cathedral of St. Andrew. And this was dedicated in 1974. It began in 1908. It took 66 years to build this beautiful church, which stands nearby to the old church of St. Andrews, which was built in 1836, which stood over a more ancient Byzantine church, which was built over a Greek temple. According to the Acts of Andrew, which was an apocryphal work composed in the 2nd century, Aegeus, who was governor of the city of Patras, hated the Apostle Andrew because Andrew had converted his wife and his brother to a faith in Jesus Christ. And so he condemned Andrew to die on this X-shaped cross. A very horrible and tragic way to die, and reminded of Matthew Shepard, the young gay man that was crucified to a fence in Laramie, Wyoming, many years ago. This church seats 5,500 worshipers. Amazing. This is the crypt of St. Andrew, which is found below the church and contains the relics, or a few of them, anyway, in this special shrine. Andrew is perhaps the most traveled, his relics are the most traveled of any saint or any apostle of Jesus Christ. One tradition has that the relics moved from Patras to Constantinople and rested in the church, the newly consecrated Church of the Holy Apostles, in 356. A church built by the new Emperor Constantine, who had made Christianity legal and dedicated churches all over the ancient world in memory of the apostles and of Jesus Christ. They moved they moved Andrew's relics to Constantinople because the church in Constantinople was rivaling the Western Church of St. Peter's Basilica in Italy. So I want you, in your mind, Andrew and Peter are brothers. And 300 years after their death, we see the church, once it becomes legal, building these huge basilicas. And now Peter's bones in St. Peter's is rivaling his brother's bones in Constantinople. A kind of interesting take. And you have to take that with, for what it is. It is tradition. And, so much for the bones of us after we die. In the 13th century, Andrew's relics were moved from Constantinople to Amalfi, a beautiful city on the coast of Italy. Chris and I were fortunate to stumble across the beautiful Duomo, the picture you see, cathedral in Amalfi, and we spent an afternoon there, not knowing that the church was dedicated to our patron Saint Andrew. Below the cathedral is the crypt of St. Andrew. It's cool, it's beautiful, it's dark, it's quiet, and it provided a really nice place to pray and meditate. And I got a little choked up because this was a sacred space, and being a disciple of Christ minister, I felt this kinship to Andrew. And did I believe the bones were there? Not really, but I believed in the connection that I had 2,000 years after Andrew. So Andrew, his relics remain in two beautiful cathedrals of the world, Patras in Greece, Amalfi in Italy. According to John's Gospel, Andrew is the first called apostle of the 12 apostles. And then he brings into the circle of Jesus his brother Simon Peter, who would become eventually the most famous of the apostles and sort of Jesus' right-hand man, as we saw last week. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke mention Andrew only in a list. No stories attached to Andrew, and the book of Acts mentions him once in a list as well. But in John's Gospel, John begins to sort of bring Andrew out of the background and into the light. What do we know about Andrew? Andrew, as the Gospels tell us, was born in Bethsaida, and here are present-day ruins of Bethsaida, a village on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. And as I've told you before, the University of Nebraska-Omaha is excavating here at this site, and has been for several years. Andrew was the son of Jonas and the brother of Simon, who later became called Peter. Andrew and Simon Peter were fishermen. Apparently they were in business with their father. They had a fishing business on the Sea of Galilee, which you see. And I like this picture of the sea because it shows you on the side of the sea, notice the barren mountains of the it escapes me right now, but it's the border of Syria, Jordan, and Israel, the Golan Heights. On the western side of the sea, you'll see grassy, kind of pasture-like, and it's a beautiful agricultural area. So both sides of the sea contain very different territories. Andrew and Peter had this family business on the sea. It's a rugged life. They would fish all night. They would wrestle with the great nets that had to be repeatedly thrown over the boat down into the water, and then hauling the cast of fish in. They would then, in the mornings, take their fish to the marketplace where people would buy every day of the week. They would go go and buy fish at the markets, and then it's back to the drawing board to fish or repair nets. Bethsaida was the capital city of Herod Philip, not Antipas, which we talked about before. But Herod Philip was one of King Herod's sons, and Philip ruled basically throughout the whole lifetime of Jesus. Philip ruled from 4 BC, and we think Jesus was probably born in 4 BC. Philip ruled to AD 34, probably just a year after the death of Jesus. Herod rebuilt Bethsaida, and he named it Bethsaida Julius, after Julia, who was the daughter of Caesar Augustus. The Herods, King Herod the Great, and his sons Antipas and Philip, had special, unique relationships with the emperors of Rome, with the highest, Emperor Augustus himself, and then Tiberius, who ruled afterwards. So there was a lot of, I could say something kind of funny, but I'm not going to get myself in trouble that way. But the rulers of Israel in the time of Jesus were very much in collusion with the emperors of Rome. The city of Bethsaida was inhabited by both Jews and Gentiles, and in fact, Andrew is a Greek name. It was also a Jewish name and is found in the 2nd century BC among Jewish lists, but primarily it is Greek. And the name Andrew means masculine, or manly, or brave. Andrew, now we have to do a little bit of imagination here. Andrew, in my mind, is a person of spiritual hunger. Andrew's soul was on the search for something. And why do I say that? Because according to the Gospel of John, we learn that Andrew goes to the wilderness to hear this peculiar preacher called John the Baptist. And Andrew hears his message of repentance and forgiveness of sin, and something connects with Andrew and John. And so John the Baptist calls Andrew to be his disciple. It's likely that Andrew saw John as God's key person that was going to usher in the new age, a new age that would be free from the oppression that people were suffering under the rule of Caesar Augustus. And then one day Jesus comes by, and John the Baptist points Jesus out among the crowd, and John says, "Here is the Lamb of God who will take away the sin of the world." Immediately, that's key. We are told immediately Andrew follows Jesus, and another fisherman, John, follows with Andrew. And then Andrew will go to his brother Simon Peter. The story that Diane read to you in the lectionary, in the lesson this morning, is another story that John tells us about Andrew. 5,000 people had followed Jesus into the wilderness, and now it was time to eat. That's a multitude. It was past time to eat. And so Jesus asked one of the disciples, he calls Philip out of the crowd. Philip has this Greek name too. And so Philip gives kind of a reasonable answer, and Philip said, "Jesus, you know what? Do you know how long it would take to feed these people? 6 months of wages would feed these people, and we don't have 6 months of wages to feed these people with." And then there's Andrew. Andrew makes his contribution, and he says, "Well, you know, there's a boy in the crowd over there, and this boy has 5 loaves and 2 2 fish. Kind of a crazy answer to feed a lot of people. Thank God the conventions at the General Assembly didn't think the way that Andrew did and feed us fish and bread. 5 loaves and 2 fish, enough for a few hungry stomachs, but not enough for a crowd of 5,000. And Andrew wasn't crazy. Andrew says, according to the scripture, this is not enough food for so many people. But it was Andrew who noticed the boy. Andrew noticed the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and the wheels in his head started turning. This is the Gospel of John's feeding of the 5,000 or feeding of the multitude story, which is in every single Gospel. The details vary, but it's in every Gospel, so it's an important story for the church. It's a story that you and I need to know so well within our soul, not only to understand the words, but we need to let those words penetrate our soul and touch us and our spirit. What does this story mean? In John's Gospel, unlike Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Andrew plays an important role in the feeding of the 5,000. John's story addresses the temptation to shrug our shoulders in the face of human need. The temptation to say, oh, we don't have enough. You might try the church down the street. Or, we're pretty small. And there are churches, you know, that are worshiping 1,000 or more, and they probably have a lot more resources than we do to feed. The temptation to say is, there is just too much need and there is not enough resources. The temptation to say 1 out of 6 Americans is hungry, but, you know, we don't have enough money to feed them. The temptation to say we need more food banks and we need more pantries in the city, but maybe we have other needs, and so our church is not going to focus on that particular need. Maybe we know 49 million Americans struggle to put food on the table. Maybe we know that 1 in 5 children are at risk for hunger. Maybe we know that 1 in 7 people are enrolled in the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Package called SNAP, and our senators want to do away with much of that funding. Maybe we know that 1/2 of those people are children, and that for every 100 school lunch programs, there are only 87 breakfast sites and 36 summer food programs. Maybe we know, but what are we to do? The disciples really didn't have an answer either so quickly. Jesus asks us the question, where are we to buy food? It's the same question that he asked his disciples. There are too many people on the street looking for food. There are too many people on the street looking for a safe place to sleep or a tank of gas. There are too many people trying to get into an apartment, but our apartment corporate ownership says, sorry, but you need 1 month of rent, which will be your deposit, and 1 month's rent at the same time. So you basically need $1,000 to rent an apartment. And how many people can do that? We know that there are people waiting to get admitted to detox facilities. I saw saw in the news this week people in Venezuela searching and rummaging through trash, hoping to find something to eat. And one person, an older person, picks up a can of maybe beans or corn and puts their finger trying to find something to eat because there is such a disconnect between the government and the people. And I thought that could be us someday. So surveying the crowd, Jesus looks around and asks the question that limits the disciples' ability and knowledge. And he says, where are we to buy bread for these people to eat? I hate that question. Because that question is my question. And so it's easy to become filled with despair. It's easy to say, I don't have enough money. What are we among so many? But church, not enough is never our answer. Not enough is never the answer of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are placed in the hands of Jesus to be the hands and the feet of Jesus. Our weakness, our limits, our insignificance is not an answer. Because our weakness and our limits and our hands can be transformed into the hands of Jesus. And the story gives us good news at the end because the people eat and they are filled with enough. You think that the gospel is trying to tell us that God's energy constantly flows through our lives and through our churches. There is reason to celebrate because we have enough food. And as we share more, we discover that we have more. It's amazing how it works like that. You found that when you shared something, it multiplies. That's the whole feeding of the multitude story. The story points to 5 loaves and 2 fish, but Andrew will go on, and Andrew will share that and more. Andrew will share the abundant life to the ends of the earth, out of Galilee and into Greece, and finally is martyred in a place that tradition says is Patras. And so, on behalf of you, I want to say thank you to Andrew. And I want to say thank you to all the disciples that worked alongside Andrew, and all of the saints of the world, like Josephine Burkhart and her junior high class, that in the 70s started our food pantry, and for over now 40 years, we have been feeding people. Church, I don't think I could ever serve a church that didn't have a pantry. This is where people are fed. We can do something beautiful for God every single day of our life. We offer an invitation for you to come and be a part of the gospel movement that seeks to bring wholeness to a world that is fragmented and sometimes broken. And the only way to heal the brokenness is for us to be